The Vanishing. Detective Sarah Mercer had seen her fair share of bizarre cases, but nothing like this. The call came in at 3:17 a.m., a frantic husband reporting his wife missing. Not unusual except for one chilling detail. The security cameras showed her entering their bedroom, but never leaving. And yet, she was gone. The house was locked from the inside. No signs of struggle, no hidden passages, just an empty bed with a single ominous clue. A small, handwritten note tucked under the pillow. You were right to be afraid. Sarah's blood ran cold. This wasn't just a missing persons case. This was the beginning of a game. The second disappearance. 2 days later, another victim. A young lawyer, last seen in his high-rise office. His assistant swore he never left his desk. But when she returned from lunch, his chair was empty, his computer still on. The only trace? A note left on his keyboard. She wasn't the first. She won't be the last. Sarah's team scoured the building. No security footage of him leaving. No witnesses. Just like the first victim, vanished into thin air. Then, the forensics report came back. Both notes were written in the same ink, the same handwriting. And worse, the paper was decades old. The pattern. Sarah dug deeper, unearthing a series of cold cases stretching back 30 years. All unsolved disappearances, all locked room mysteries, all with the same eerie detail. The victims were last seen in a secure location, with no way out. And then, the twist. Each victim had one thing in common. They had all at some point been patients of the same psychiatrist, Dr. Nathaniel Voss. Sarah tracked him down, only to find his office abandoned, dust-covered files, a single fresh note on his desk. You're getting closer, detective. But are you ready for the truth? The dark truth. Sarah uncovered Dr. Voss's research. Experiments on repressed memories, trauma-induced hallucinations. His theory? That fear could warp reality, that, under the right conditions, a person could will themselves out of existence. His patients hadn't been kidnapped. They hadn't been killed. They had erased themselves. But why now? And why leave the notes? The final clue came from Voss's journal, hidden beneath the floorboards of his home. The final test begins. The detective will understand. She's next. Sarah's phone buzzed. A new email. No sender. Just a single line. Close your eyes, detective. Do you hear it? The silence? The choice. Sarah's reflection in the mirror flickered. The lights in her apartment dimmed. A whisper in her ear. You were right to be afraid. She realized too late she had been a patient of Dr. Voss as a child. And now, the experiment was complete. The last thing she saw was her own hand, fading from existence as the note appeared on her desk. Goodbye, detective. Epilogue. The next victim. A new detective picks up the case file. The first page is a handwritten note. Are you afraid yet? The end of silence. Sarah Mercer's body was fading, her fingers turning translucent. The room around her blurred, the walls dissolving into static. She could hear Dr. Voss's voice whispering from the void. You were always the perfect subject, Sarah. Your fear, your trauma, it made you susceptible. And now, you'll disappear, just like the others. But Sarah had spent her career solving impossible cases, and this was just another puzzle. She remembered something, one detail from Voss's research. His experiments relied on belief. The victims didn't just vanish, they believed themselves into nothingness. And if belief was the key, then so was defiance. Sarah clenched her fists, forcing her mind to reject the illusion. No. The room shuddered. The whispers stuttered. I don't believe you. The static cracked, the walls solidified. Her hands returned, solid and real. And then she saw him, Dr. Voss, standing in the corner of her apartment, his face twisted in shock. That's impossible. Sarah lunged before he could react, slamming him against the wall. You made them believe they were vanishing. Hypnosis, drugs, psychological conditioning. Whatever it wasn't magic, and now you're going to tell me where they really are. Voss laughed, blood trickling from his lip. You think it's that simple. They're gone, Sarah. Not dead, not hidden, just erased. But Sarah had seen enough. She tightened her grip. Then you're going to unerase them. Epilogue: The Return. The news called it a miracle. One by one, the missing reappeared, confused, disoriented, but alive. The lawyer in his office, the wife in her bedroom, dozens of others, waking as if from a long dream. Dr. Voss was found in his abandoned office, catatonic, muttering a single phrase. She shouldn't have been able to resist. Sarah stood over him, watching as they took him away. She still had questions. Still didn't fully understand how he'd done it. But one thing was certain. The silence was over, and she was still here.